So the ViDoc has launched today, and just for the sake of those who don't care for them, I'm skipping past any story or narrative related things, just in case people want to be 100% fresh for Witch Queen. They don't want any more spoilers than they already got, just in case there is any story beats that I could show off by going through it. So I'm going to go over the basic stuff, and starting with the glaive. If you don't know, glaive was introduced, and it's supposed to be a sword, a gun, and a shield all at once. If you haven't seen it, they show off a little bit more about the glaive and talk about how it is a combo sort of weapon. Now, going into other things, they talk about more weapon crafting where we get some hints. Now, it's going to be a bit limited right off the bat, as it appears that we'll only have Witch Queen based stuff and things from the season that's up and coming. I won't name it or I won't drop it just in case you won't, but other people who already know what the season is about will be getting some stuff from there. That should be the only things that we get from the basic stuff, and they do say we will be getting more crafting things unlocked as the seasons go on. Whether or not world pool stuff or we'll get stuff from the dungeon or not, we'll just have to wait and see how things come forward. Now, of course, going through more and more things, we see a little bit more of a hint of how it goes. Let's see if we can get it on screen. And so we see things like this, where it takes a neutral element to give some of the stuff, and we have choices for all the things, including a new mag perk that is yet to be seen of what it can do officially, just because we don't see it. But of course, this is also going for the glaive, it seems. So the glaive will have mag perks, and I even think I saw at one point the glaive, like right here, where the glaive has kill clip and something else that I thought that was frenzy, but we still a little bit more. It's adaptive glaive, so it's a high left trigger for shield that depletes energy over time, right bumper for a kinetic melee combo, and I suppose right trigger for its shot. Now, as well as other things, let's see. We're getting better looks at the Parasite grenade launcher, which looks effing amazing. The brief moment that we saw it before, it didn't look so great, but the other shots that we see of it, it looks freaking cool. Although at the same time, it might be a single shot grenade launcher just because of the way it functioned. And they do mention as well, Osteo Striga, we will build it. It is a weapon of sorrow, like Thorn, like Touch of Malice, so technically it is meant to be a guardian killer, but one made by guardians. And they basically mentioned it's going to have swarming hive projectiles that are homing, that at the same time will cause poison clouds when it actually attacks to people, as well as other things. So this weapon's going to be nuts up and coming. Now, they also cover a little bit more, like they cover how many weapons just straight up will be brought in the world. They also cover the new Grand Overture machine gun, which is confirmed to be the Colossus gun, where it essentially is just a missile launcher to embody the Cabal. I don't know if it is an alt fire officially, or if it's full file of the missile barrage, but we'll have to see. They also cover, again, the class-based glaives that will be unique to every character and what makes them special. And they, of course, talk about more world loot and other things that will be rotating in and out. That they do say we have about 50 new weapons that will be available this up-and-coming DLC and season. And they also talk about some other things. Exotics will be getting 6 new pieces of exotic armor in addition to 8 pieces of exotic weaponry. The exotic weaponry, they also specify 1 will be for each class for stasis, as well as 1 will be for each class for light. And they do mention other things like the wall barricade, the stasis wall, that still has the benefits of a rally barricade, while this new exotic piece of gauntlets will basically add the Devour perk to an Empowering Rift, making it so they can heal while in an Empowering Rift. Is pretty freaking cool. They also give us hints at Void 3.0, which we can see a few of the fragments and aspects right along. We see stuff like this, or melee final blows with grenade energy. If you'll excuse me one moment. And we see things like Echo of Exchange, where melee final blows will grant grenade energy. Then we also see other things like the next one, Echo of Remnants, where lingering grenade effects will have increased durations. As well as one more, Echo of Reprisal, final blows will surround and will grant super energy. So these won't be exact same fragments like we will Stasis, because they function a little bit different. But they will be based entirely upon the base element. So as they get into it later, they'll say things like void is like being the energy vampire, and while it comes to solar, we'll have aspects and fragments based on burning and healing, while arc will be similar to chaining and dealing just stunning damage. And we get a little bit more of hints at how fragments go themselves as well. As we see here, Chaos Accelerant. This is basically the overcharged ability from the Chaos Tree that makes it so that you can overcharge your grenades. And they do mention as well, as we can see here, at least in the case of Voidwalker, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 different grenades we have access to. So I think in terms of Voidwalker, like how all 3 stasis subclasses have access to every grenade, every single Void grenade is going to be available to every single subclass. And if that's the case, Void is going to be crazy in this next season. I can't wait to see suppressors on Vorlocks, scatter grenades on my Titan. It's going to be freaking awesome. Now, of course, we see one more, Child of the Old Gods. This is something they talk about. This one is a new one where it's basically the Void. It's a Void Soul, a Void version of the Arc Soul, but it functions differently where instead of just straight up attacking enemies, after you target something, this Void Soul will fly towards them, drain them, doing damage and weakening them, granting grenade energy if you have a healing rift, or health if running an empowering rift, and defeating a target who's being drained by this also grants rift energy as well. So these sort of things are going to start breaking the game wide open. And so we get a little bit more inkling about the world and what happens. We see more Void Souls. This is where they're starting to talk about how they want Arc Souls to happen. We have things like this for the mini throne shield. He's talking about a new aspect for the Titans, which we see right here functioning, where basically we slam down a rally barricade and start creating a Void Overshield for all of our allies near it, which is going to be super freaking handy come raid day. Now, there is more things they talk about. We get little glyphs and blips into other things. We see the Void Soul and a new Void Melee in action, a Void Range Melee. We see various other things as well. This was one that I wanted to show you guys because I feel like people missed it, and that is a Smoke Bomb Shatter Dive. Here, you see this guy, he does a Shatter Dive motion, he pops a Smoke Bomb, and everybody near him is instantly invis. So there is lots of cool things. I skipped over narrative ideas. I'll actually pause it there in case you don't want any spoilers, but that's some of the cool things that revealed to us going forward. If you want to know about the narrative stuff and story, I would recommend you just watch it from the beginning, but otherwise, if you don't, I'm just not going to say it for you. On that note, that was the basic quick recap of everything new told to us that is not story related, and I will see you in the next video.